you should be able to hear me. I sure hope so. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably fine. Oi. So, yeah, we're talking about nuclear energy today. Why? Because I wanted to. Because let's have a bit of fun. I need to make this just the tiniest bit smaller. There you go. Now we can see. Right. So yeah, like the title says, I'm not a nuclear engineer. I don't follow anything in the nuclear world. I'm just, well, I guess you can call me an enthusiast. I do really like the idea of nuclear energy. I have researched it, of course, beforehand. But yeah. Sorry, slime. Anyways, yeah, we're just going to look around a bit, see what's going on in the nuclear world. In the Netherlands itself, this is the Dutch government. In France, which is the largest nuclear power in the world. And, of course, nuclear disasters, what happened with them, what caused them. And yeah, just to, look around, educate ourselves. Because you always need to educate yourselves on everything, really. Which makes life really hard. Right, so... let's just take a look at the government of the Netherlands first. So, yeah, most of this is true, probably. I wouldn't look too much into it. This is most definitely true. About 10% of our electricity is from a nuclear power plant. It's in Borselen. Let me just go to Google Maps real quick. Oh, fine. Borselen. So that's over here. So yeah. The nuclear power plant's over there. Which is, you do have Middelburg close by, which is relatively sizable. But it's quite safe, I would say. It's quite safe. Besides, it has easy access to water, being right on the North Sea and the entrance to the port city of Antwerp. Yeah, it's quite a decent place to have a nuclear energy reactor. There are no plans to build any new nuclear power plants. They did say they would, the VVD and Rutte Cabinet 4, but they just fell this summer. So it's unknown if that will still go through. Of course, they did start the entire process, but any government can just stop that from happening, which is quite annoying, So be it. Let's see, what else does it say? Only operational nuclear power plant, yes it is. Annual output of 4 billion kilowatt hours of nuclear energy. Enough to provide electricity for over 1 million homes. So that's one nuclear power plant, and I believe the Borselen power plant is quite old as well. Here, it's from 1973, so that's 7, 27, 47, that's 50 years old. So it's already 10 years older than it should be. Yeah, it says that as well. That is insane. Because, obviously, because it's so old, there's way better new technology already. Because even in the nuclear sector, that's still ongoing. I believe. Let's go back to that actually. Because if I'm not mistaken, and this is just Wikipedia, that's fine. Building, that's fine, that's fine. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about that either, hang on. Can we find it? What am I looking for again? Oh god, I was looking at, what type of reactor it is. So it only has one reactor, of course, but what type of reactor is it? It did get modernized after Chernobyl, that's good, and in 2006 a new turbine was installed. That's decent, but the nuclear reactor itself is also quite important because you can have a good, you can have a good turbine. If the reactor doesn't get that much, then there's no use. I can't find it. What type? Let's see, the Borselen Nuclear Power Station in English. Pressurized water reactor. Okay, that's alright. Currently, the uranium comes from Kazakhstan. So there you go, nice one, see that. 12 tons of high-level waste annually. That's not actually that much. No, that's not that much. The nuclear plant had a long-lasting contract with nuclear recycling factory in La Hague. Oh, wait. Sure. This contract ended in 2015. Okay. We can transport the fuel rods to France anymore. That's annoying. Yeah, they're now just piling up, but yeah, we are sending it to France, and a big box. This is new, most of this is quite old, but the big box is like, you know what, I can show you guys a video. Thank God for YouTube. It is in Dutch, but I'll just turn off. I'll just turn on the subtitles. Turn off the music. Subtitles are on, and we want them in English. There we go.
En dan, we moeten het hebben over, hou je vast, kernenergie. En waarom? Omdat dit mijn programma is en ik mag dat bepalen. Maar ook vanwege dit.
Als de mens niet snel de uitstoot van broeikasgassen omlaag brengt, zijn de gevolgen van de opwarming van de aarde enorm.
Ja.
Can I just intervene for a quick second? I understand climate is important. I totally agree. But we shouldn't just go nuclear because of the climate. If we look at CO2 emissions in Beijing, so in Beijing itself, it's like 5 million tons in 2015. Oh no, it's 2.7 million tons in 2015. That's a lot of CO2. You know what that does to your lungs? Do you know what that does to your lungs? CO2 effect on human lungs. Like, it's all fun and games, but you'll die. If you breathe in too much CO2, you die. You will slowly but surely asphyxiate, and your lungs just... they can't handle it. So if we stop with reducing CO2 emissions, and we keep burning fossil fuels, we will eventually create a quite possible scenario wherein the air becomes unbreathable because there's not enough oxygen and too much carbon dioxide. I think that that's quite a decently important thing to also mention aside from the climate and climate change, because our health is at stake. We can quite literally die from all of these emissions, and it just doesn't get... they just don't tell. No one talks about the impact on quality of life, not even from climate change, but just from the CO2 emissions themselves.
We moeten snel minder CO2 gaan uitstoten, want anders warmt de aarde te veel op. Ik adem sinds kort alleen nog maar door mijn neus, maar daarmee redden we het niet. We proberen al een tijdje zoveel mogelijk over te stappen op windmolens en zonnepanelen, maar dat gaat te langzaam. Gelukkig is er nog een manier om energie op te wekken zonder CO2-uitstoot. En dat is, hou je vast, kernenergie. Dat had ik al gezegd, maar ik wilde het voor het dramatische effect nog even een keertje doen. En nu roepen jullie allemaal... kernenergie? Nee, straling, Arjen. Tsjernobyl. Maar ik laat mij niet door jullie in de taboesfeer trekken. Hè? Laten we even kijken. Heel basic. Wat is een kerncentrale?
Het woord kerncentrale bestaat uit 2 delen. Kern en centrale.
Bit too basic. Just as I
Ja, oké. Misschien iets minder basic, toch? Hoe werkt het?
De atomen van het uranium worden in de kerncentrale gespleten. Bij het splijten komt heel veel warmte vrij. Daardoor ontstaat stoom. En die stoom zet een grote dynamo in werking en daardoor krijg je dus energie.
Precies, energie opwekken zonder CO2-uitstoot. Dat kunnen windmolens en zonnepanelen dus ook, maar kernenergie heeft een voordeeltje. Het werkt altijd. Want zonnepanelen doen het alleen overdag en windmolens alleen als het waait. Maar kernenergie heeft er geen last van. Dus zelfs als er nooit meer een morgen zou zijn en de zon viel in slaap met de maan, hebben we nog steeds kernenergie. In Nederland staat 1 kerncentrale die energie opwekt in Borselen. Hallo, zitten jullie nou naar mijn borstelen te kijken? Mijn ogen zitten hier, hè? Nou, goed. Die centrale in Borselen die is gebouwd in 1973, net als Frans Bauer. En levert nog steeds 3% van de stroom in Nederland. 2% meer dan Frans Bauer.
So yeah, he says 3%. According to the Dutch government, it's 10%. They say 4 billion kilowatt hours. How much is it in here? Let's see what this one says. About 3,000 gigawatt hours. So that's yeah, that does add up. Yes, that's the same. I don't know how big our energy network is, but I don't think it's that big. When was this changed? Can we see that? Oh, it's probably from 2016. Well, that's old. That's not good. Well, nothing I can really do about that. The government should really get new information on their websites. I mean, this one's also quite old. This is from 2019. But yeah, that's already a bit better.
Qua opwarming van de aarde zou je dan ook zeggen... laten we er gewoon nog snel 10 kerncentrales bijbouwen. Dan stoppen we met gas en kolen... en halen we de klimaatdoelen met 2 vingers in de neus. Ik niet, want ik stik dan, maar je begrijpt wat ik bedoel. Helaas ligt dat niet zo simpel. Want voor heel veel mensen is kernenergie taboe. En dat ziet er zo uit.
Nederland atoomvrij en trouwens de hele wereld.
Ja. Leuk, een slogan met trouwens erin. Wij eisen tweede paasdag vrij en trouwens doe maar de hele week. En trouwens is er nog iets te knabbelen. Maar waarom is kernenergie zo'n taboe? We luisteren naar Greenpeace. Die willen de wereld redden, dus je zou denken dat die heel blij zijn met energie zonder uitstoot.
Het heeft geen CO2-uitstoot, dat klopt. Dus het draagt niet bij aan de opwarming van de aarde. Maar er kleven natuurlijk ook andere nadelen aan kernenergie.
Wacht even. Hè. Het stoot geen CO2 uit en draagt niet bij aan de opwarming van de aarde. Maar er zijn ook andere nadelen. Je kan niet een gigantisch voordeel noemen en dan zeggen... maar het wordt nog erger. Maar sorry, je ging een nadeel noemen.
Namelijk dat het risicovol is. We hebben natuurlijk problemen gehad met Tsjernobyl, met Fukushima een aantal jaar geleden. Dat is wel nadelig voor mensen en milieu.
Ja, dat was inderdaad vrij nadelig voor mensen en milieu. Tsjernobyl en Fukushima, dat klinkt als een onmogelijke romance tussen een Russisch jongetje en een Japans meisje... waarbij de een ontploft en de ander een totale meltdown krijgt. Ja, hahaha, maar het zijn de ergste kernrampen uit de geschiedenis. En dus ook de 2 meest gebruikte argumenten tegen kernenergie. Maar is dat wel terecht? Even een testje, even een klein kernproefje. Wie weet nog waar die was tijdens de grote Sendai-beving? Iemand? Nee, hè? Nee, dat geeft niks. De Sendai-beving voor de kust van Japan in 2011... veroorzaakte een tsunami van 14 meter hoog... en kostte het leven aan 19.000 mensen. Maar wat hebben wij ervan onthouden?
Al de hele ochtend maken we extra uitzendingen over de gevolgen van de aardbeving in Japan. De meeste aandacht richt zich nu op een kerncentrale... waar vanochtend een explosie is geweest.
Precies, de meeste aandacht ging naar de kerncentrale van Fukushima. Die Sendai-beving zijn we al lang weer vergeten, maar Fukushima kent iedereen. Maar wat de meeste mensen niet weten van Fukushima... is het aantal doden dat er is gevallen. En dat aantal is 1. 1. Een man die de straling moest meten na de ramp bij Fukushima... heeft longkanker gekregen. Er is kans dat dat door die straling kwam. En toch hebben we het nog steeds over die kernramp.
You know, the funniest thing is... lung cancer can be caused by so many things. It could be caused by car emissions... smoking tobacco... but like I said, by so many things. I genuinely don't believe that man died from radiation. I think he was just either a heavy smoker or someone who lived in a urban area without any CO2 regulations and thus was poisoned to death by car emissions. Like, there is no way that he died from Fukushima.
Met 1 slachtoffer en bijna nooit over die 19.000 tsunami-doden. Dit is alsof na de aanslag op de Twin Towers... dat het nog wekenlang ging over van die kleine whiskyflesjes aan boord van die vliegtuigen. Ja, want die moeten allemaal kapot zijn gegaan, van die leuke kleine dingetjes. Waarschijnlijk hebben ze zelfs in allebei de vliegtuigen gezeten. Heel heftig. Maar moet je even bedenken, er was een aardbeving van 9 op de schaal van Richter. De op 4 na sterkste aardbeving ooit gemeten. Hij was zo sterk dat heel Japan 2,5 meter is opgeschoven naar het oosten. Dat is geen grapje. Het hoofdeiland van Japan is 2,5 meter verschoven. Sterker nog, de as van de aarde is 10 centimeter verschoven. Dus als mensen mij vragen, waar was jij tijdens de beving van Sendai? Dan zeg ik, geen idee, maar in elk geval 10 centimeter naar links. En toen kwam er een tsunami van 14 meter hoog over die kerncentrale heen. Die ontplofte vervolgens. En daarbij was het dodental hooguit 1.
By the way, for the Americans, because there probably will be some Americans watching this, meters to feet. 14 meters is basically 46 feet. That's how high that tsunami was.
Fukushima zou dus eigenlijk geen argument tegen kernenergie moeten zijn, maar voor. Tsjernobyl, dat is een ander verhaal. De schattingen die lopen uiteen, maar er zijn in elk geval 62 mensen bij omgekomen. En volgens de WHO, de Wereldgezondheidsorganisatie, kunnen er de komende jaren nog maximaal 4000 doden vallen, doordat de kans op kanker is toegenomen. En dat zijn veel potentiële doden, maar we hebben het dus over de 2 grootste rampen uit de geschiedenis van de kernenergie. Waarvan er eentje met een totaal verouderde kerncentrale en de andere die kwam door een krankzinnige natuurramp en die is nog relatief goed afgelopen ook.
Yeah, so that's quite impressive feat of nuclear energy already. But when we burn CO2, how many accidents happen in coal power plants? Let's just take a look. Energy accidents. Let's see. Energy resources bring for them great social and economic promise, but energy fatalities can occur from energy accidents, oil spills, mine disasters, those types of things. Obviously, Fukushima would also be an energy accident, and, well, there are many energy accidents that really happened. Let's see what this is. Hydroelectric facilities claimed 94% of reported immediate fatalities, while responsible for less than 1% of the total number of energy accidents. Right, yeah. No, this is because of dams, hydroelectric dams. They're probably talking about the Yangtze. Is it the Yangtze or was it the Yellow River? Or are those two the same? Hang on. The Yangtze River Valley. I believe it's the same, if I'm not mistaken. But the Yangtze. Oh, it's the Blue River. Ah, of course. But there was a massive hydroelectric dam burst in China, which caused like 40 million people to die or something like that. It was the Yellow River floods. In 1938. Yeah, the 1938 Yellow River flood. Man-made flood. So it was man-made, but that doesn't matter. The fact is that it was, technically speaking, an energy accident. Let's see. Destruction of dikes, effect on the war. It had a long-term strategic intent, but didn't really work too well. Yeah. Let's take a look. Damages. Casualties. The immediate drowning deaths were estimated from 30,000 to 89,000, and the total deaths resulted from floods, famine, and plague had wild estimates. 2 professional sources put it between 400,000 and 500,000, according to Wang Xibin in 1986 and Bi Shunfu in 1995. An editor at the Yellow River Conservancy Commission of the Ministry of Water Resources and a researcher at Second Historical Archives of China, respectively, a much higher estimate of 893,303 total deaths were given by the nationalist government's relief statistics in 1948. But this was discredited for its unspecified methodology of body counting and its questionable approximation of the missing figure of Anhui province, which was probably in hands of the communists then. The nationalist government's relief statistics were even higher than 2 early communist estimates in the 1950s, which put the total deaths to 470,000 and 500,000 respectively. However, subsequent communist sources generally upheld the 893,303 figure to portray the nationalist government as inhumane. Pretty smart. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but it was bad. Like, between a couple 100,000, which is way too much already, and 1 million. So that's bad, and that's probably why those numbers are so skewed. Let's see. Results on immediate facilities are dominated by one disaster in which Typhoon Nina in 1975 washed out the Shimantan Dam in Henan Province, China, and 171,000 people perished. So this is because of a typhoon breaking an electric dam, and the other major incident that involved greater than 1,000 immediate deaths followed the rupture of the NNPC petroleum pipeline in 1998 and the resulting explosion. So that's oil. The other singular accident described by Silver Courts predicted latent death toll of greater than 1,000 as a result of the steam explosion at Chernobyl nuclear reactor in Ukraine, with approximately 4,000 deaths in total. So yeah, that's obviously, like, so many things happen because back in the day they were bad with safety. Safety regulations were either non-existent or just appalling. They didn't think things through in case of the Yangtze River, or the Yellow River, sorry. And I mean, this is like, we have so much. Let's take a look. International Atomic Energy Agency. I want safety regulations, because the IAEA does everything when it comes to safety on atomic energy. That's transport. I want safety regulations, power production. Safety of nuclear power plants. Let's take a look. So can we oh, I can't. Oh, I have to pay for that. Of course, why not? Tickets. Okay, well, we can at least read this. The Safety Requirements publication establishes the requirements to be met to ensure the safe operation of nuclear power plants. This publication supersedes Safety Series number 50-C-O, Code on the Safety of Nuclear Power Plants, Operation 1988. It restructures the code in the light of the Safety Fundamentals publication, Safety Series number 110, the Safety of Nuclear Installations 1993, and Safety Series number 115, International Basic Safety Standards for Protection Against Ionizing Radiation and for the Safety of Radiation Sources in 1996. It introduces new topics to reflect current international practice and new concepts and technical developments. This is the newest, I believe, and it's published in 2000. So, kind of old already. Yeah, IAEA. Come on, you can do better than this. I know you can. Are you newer? You're from 2016. Here you go. This is design elements. It costs $50, of course. Can you just... Hey, we can just download the PDF. Isn't that fun? I'm a blithering idiot. That's what I am. Let's take a look at this. So these are the following state members of the IAEA. It's everyone in the UN. So it includes countries like China and Russia and everyone, basically. I believe North Korea even. Let's take a look. North Korea. Norway. Nope. No North Korea. Guess not, apparently. I think they should be part of this, but, you know. You know what? With the entire thing of the Fukushima wastewater being released, I don't think North Korea has even the possibility of complaining, because they're not part of the IAEA, so they can't check if it's safe or not. So they should probably just shut up. As for China, they should have just vetoed their decision. If they can. I don't know if they can. They probably could. A lot of international relation boards work with vetoes, which is kind of annoying. But you know, nothing you can really do about it. Not as long as the EU will keep it. Let's hope the Brussels effect takes place. Anyways, let's get back into it. Copyright module, yeah, this is all important to read. Obviously the copyright goes to the people who actually made this. This isn't mine. This is from the IAEA. Just for legal reasons I have to say this. That's not what I care about either. Let's see, this introduction, applying safety principles and concepts. Here we go. So we need to be quite a bit lower. I don't know where that is because it doesn't say exactly what page it is. I hate that. Here we go. This is 2. There you go. Applying safety principles and concepts. The fundamental safety principles establish 1 fundamental safety objective and 10 safety principles that provide the basis for requirements and measures for the protection of people and the environment against radiation risks and for the safety of facilities and activities that give rise to radiation risks. Lots of information. Fundamental safety objective applies for all stages in the lifetime of a nuclear power plant, including planning, siting, design, manufacture, construction, commissioning and operation, as well as decommissioning. This includes the associated transport of radioactive material and the management of spent nuclear fuel and radioactive waste. So everything with nuclear energy has fundamental safety objectives, and it's completely insane. Hang on 1 second. Right, well, I've got a muffin now. Do you know the Muffin Man? I know the Muffin Man. Not really good. But yeah, lots of safety features. So as you can see, it's easy to download, completely free. If you want to read more about modern nuclear safety features, you can see that over there.
En daarvoor betalen we een hoge prijs. Aldus, ironisch genoeg, Hans Goedkoop.
Waarmee Tsjernobyl, ironisch genoeg, tenslotte slaagde waar linkse demonstranten faalden. Kernenergie is kamerbreed taboe geworden.
Ja, kernenergie is een taboe. Mensen zeggen nog liever tegen Maarten van der Weijden: je hebt het niet gehaald, hè? Ja, dat doen ze nog liever dan toegeven dat kernenergie een goed idee is. Hij heeft het niet gehaald. Dat is waar. En kijk, het blijven kernrampen, hè, met doden en spookdorpen en milieuschade. Maar om een eerlijke vergelijking te maken, moeten we ook kijken naar andere energievormen. Kijk, hier zie je hoe dodelijk de meest gebruikte soorten energie zijn. Kijk, bruinkool is het dodelijkst, want het geeft ongelooflijk veel luchtvervuiling. Daarna steenkool, dan olie, dan biomassa, gas. En dat piepkleine streepje daaronderaan, dat is kernenergie. En zelfs groene stroom is dodelijker dan kernenergie. Waterkracht bijvoorbeeld, dat klinkt onschuldig, maar die stuwdammen die breken ook wel eens door. De ergste ramp was in 1975 in China. Toen verdronken 26.000 mensen en werden miljoenen mensen dakloos. En dan zeg je, ja, dat waren vast slechte dammen. Die zouden we in het Westen nooit bouwen. Maar dan zeg ik 1, racist. Chinezen kunnen prima dammen. En 2...
Dammen is checkers in Dutch. Just so you know.
Als je zo begint, dan is die Tsjernobyl-ramp ook geen argument, want zulke slechte centrales bestaan al lang niet meer. En het wordt nog extremer, want volgens het Amerikaanse tijdschrift Forbes zijn zelfs windmolens en zonnepanelen waarschijnlijk dodelijker dan kernenergie door ongelukken bij bouw en de installatie. Maar waarom zijn we dan juist voor kernenergie zo bang? Niet vanwege de cijfers dus, maar het is een gevoel. Olie en kolen, dat snappen we, dat is smerig, maar je kan het snappen. En kernenergie en straling niet, dat is eng. En wat al helemaal eng klinkt, kernafval.
En dan is er nog het probleem van het kernafval.
Een kerncentrale produceert gevaarlijk radioactief afval.
Voor hoog radioactief afval uit kerncentrales.
It's dangerous, but it's recyclable and incredibly easy to manage. Unlike solar panels, which cannot be recycled as of now, I believe we don't have the technology for that just yet. Wind turbines can be recycled because most of them is aluminium, so I believe that's perfectly fine. But don't quote me on that. And when it comes to fossil fuels, our waste is just being sent straight up into the sky. So I don't know how much longer you want to do that, but at least we have the waste products of radioactivity and nuclear energy under control.
Geldt dat het nog 100.000 jaar actief blijft. Dat is gigantisch lang.
Ja, dat is gigantisch lang. Probeer maar eens 100.000 jaar niet met je ogen te knipperen. Dat red je niet. En vroeger wisten we niet zo goed wat we met dat kernafval aan moesten. Toen werd het zelfs in zee gedumpt, soms bijna op Greenpeace.
Met het dumpen van die vaten. Je bent mensen in een levensgevaar. En zijn jullie voor verantwoordelijk als er ongelukken gebeuren. Zijn jullie gek geworden? Moeten we dan weer doden vallen?
Ja, zij varen met een rubberbootje op de plek waar loodzware vaten kernafval in zee worden gepleurd. En dan roepen zij, hey, zijn jullie gek geworden? Maar Greenpeace had wel een punt. Kernafval in zee gooien is ziek. En dat doen we dus ook niet meer. Tegenwoordig stoppen we het in een grote blauwe doos.
Nou, dit is hem dan, die grote blauwe doos.
Ja. Dat is een mooie blauwe doos. Dat zei grote smurf vannacht ook. Ja. Hij staat in Borselen, naast die kerncentrale. En in die doos ligt heel veel kernafval.
Eigenlijk is dit een mix van allerlei soorten radioactief afval wat er in heel Nederland geproduceerd wordt. Van laboratoria, van ziekenhuizen, alle bedrijven en instellingen die met radioactieve bronnen werken.
Ja, dit soort enorme hoeveelheden, dat gaat dus over laag- en middelradioactief afval. Dat is een beetje het huis-, tuin- en keuken radioactief afval. Dat is binnen 100 jaar is dat uitgestraald en dan kan het gewoon in de grijze bak. Maar vlak naast die blauwe doos in Borselen staat ook nog een grote oranje doos. En daarin ligt het hoogradioactieve afval dat uit kernreactoren komt. En dat is gelukkig echt een stevige oranje doos. Dat zei Willem-Alexander vannacht ook.
We kunnen hier staan omdat het afval zelf ligt onder ons opgeslagen. En we staan hier eigenlijk op een vloer van 1,7 meter dik beton. Het is bestand tegen aardbevingen, overstromingen, harde windstoten, vliegtuigimpact, gasexplosies.
Straaljagers, mammoeten, hooikoorts, dronken Britten, sneeuwschuivers. Ja, helaas niet tegen regen. Hij mag absoluut niet nat worden. Nee, dat ding is hartstikke veilig. Het afval in die oranje doos blijft nog 100.000 jaar gevaarlijk. En dat is inderdaad een probleem, maar niet een heel groot probleem.
Als je een leven lang kernenergie gebruikt, hou je ongeveer dit, een klein appeltje, over aan kernafval.
Ja, ik vind wel dat je hem heel dicht bij je hoofd houdt. Ik ken dat type appel, dat is de Uranium Delicious. Oké, ik vind appeltjes altijd een beetje lastig rekenen. Hoeveel hoog radioactief kernafval gaat er nu jaarlijks in die oranje doos?
Hoeveel van deze appeltjes krijgt u nou binnen in een jaar?
Het hoogradioactieve afval, warmteproducerend afval van Borselen, dat is een kubieke meter, iets meer dan een kubieke meter per jaar.
Ja, een kubieke meter per jaar. In totaal past al het hoogradioactieve afval dat we nu in Nederland hebben in 1 flinke zeecontainer. En toch hoor je heel vaak het "we kunnen het onze kinderen niet aandoen" argument.
Een fundamenteler probleem is het afval dat 100.000 jaar radioactief blijft. Willen we de komende generaties daarmee opzadelen?
Waar hebben jullie ons mee opgezadeld? Ja, eigenlijk alleen die oranje doos in Zeeland, die moet je niet openmaken. Maar daar wil wilde ik misschien wel mijn iPad 60 neerleggen. Ja, nee, dat kan dus niet. Oh, we worden overal mee opgezadeld. Maar het voordeel van kernafval is ook dat je het heel goed kunt opslaan. In tegenstelling tot gas- en kolencentrales die hun afval de lucht inspuiten, zodat mensen kanker en longproblemen krijgen. Doordat het afval van kernenergie de grond ingaat in plaats van de lucht in, heeft het gebruik van kernenergie volgens de NASA al bijna 2 miljoen doden voorkomen. En daarmee staat kernenergie op gelijke hoogte met Bruce Willis in Armageddon. En ik zeg, het afvalbezwaar tegen de kernenergie kan vloep in die oranje doos. Oké, dus kernenergie is niet gevaarlijker dan andere energievormen en veel schoner dan andere fossiele brandstoffen. Eigenlijk is er maar één echt groot probleem. Money. Het bouwen van een kerncentrale kost heel veel geld. Waarom?
Nou, een kerncentrale is geen koekjesfabriek.
Een kerncentrale is gewoon geen koekjesfabriek.
Ja, je hebt het natuurlijk niet over een koekjesfabriek. Maar een kerncentrale.
Precies. Een kerncentrale is ingewikkeld en geen koekjesfabriek. Of zoals ze bij Verkade zeggen, als het zo simpel is, doe het dan zelf. Een belangrijke oorzaak van de hoge...
Verkade is a Dutch... I mean, they make chocolate and cookies, so I guess just a Dutch treat maker? Yeah, let's go.
Kosten zijn de veiligheidseisen. Die worden steeds verder opgeschroefd, en zeker als er iets misgaat. Terwijl de huidige kerncentrales dus al veel veiliger zijn dan alle andere soorten energie. Nogmaals, Fukushima, modelletje uit de jaren 60, 9 op de schaal van Richter, 1 dode. Maar geen enkele politicus zal zeggen, er moeten meer kerncentrales komen, maar qua veiligheid kan het wel een tikje minder, want anders wordt het te duur. Dat kan niet, want het gaat over straling en straling gaat over emotie. Maar oké, wacht even. Dus alles heeft nadelen, ook kernenergie. Je moet het afval opslaan, het is geen koekjesfabriek en het is duurder dan parkeren in het centrum van Amsterdam. Bij wijze van spreken dan. Het zou dus veel fijner zijn om ons CO2-probleem op te lossen met windmolens en zonnepanelen. Dan is het klimaat gered en we hebben een goed gevoel. Maar de vraag is, gaat dat lukken? Want vorige maand kwam het IPCC, dat zijn de klimaatexperts van de Verenigde Naties, met een rapport over hoe we de klimaatverandering nog kunnen beteugelen. En ze hebben daarvoor scenario's bedacht waarmee we de opwarming kunnen beperken. En in de 4 belangrijkste scenario's moet er meer kernenergie komen. In het groenste scenario, waarin wij veel minder energie gaan gebruiken, verdubbelt de kernenergie. En in het scenario waar we lekker veel energie blijven gebruiken, het meest realistische scenario eigenlijk, moet er 6 keer zoveel kernenergie komen. Daar valt nauwelijks tegen op te borstelen. Het IPCC zegt dus...
Hang on, like 6 times the amount of nuclear energy. That's a lot. We probably would have enough uranium if Niger doesn't stop producing it. With the Niger coup that might happen, but Kazakhstan has a lot of the world's uranium, so we still have them. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
Het meest realistische scenario eigenlijk, moet er 6 keer zoveel kernenergie komen. Daar valt nauwelijks tegen op te borstelen. Het IPCC zegt dus, we kunnen eigenlijk niet zonder kernenergie. We moeten wel. En veel milieuclubs, Greenpeace bijvoorbeeld, die zitten gewoon nog in de ontkenningsfase.
Kijk, we zijn er niet principieel tegen. Het is heel erg pragmatisch. Moeten we daar...
No, you're not pragmatic on nuclear energy. You're most definitely dogmatic about it. Greenpeace and Green Left, the probably biggest ecological party in the Netherlands, they're just dogmatically against nuclear energy. They don't want anything to do with it, and it's impossible. It is just impossible.
Onze energie uit kern halen als er ook schone oplossingen zijn. En daarom zeggen wij, kies dan maar voor die schone oplossingen.
Ja, dat zegt iedereen. Dat vindt iedereen. Maar die luxe hebben we dus niet. Kijk, tuurlijk, windmolens, supergoed. Zonnepanelen, supergoed. Het liefst zouden we het daarmee doen. En die ontwikkelingen die gaan ook hard nu. Er worden nu windmolens gepland van 260 meter hoog. Kijk, dat is een soort Eiffeltorens met wieken. Maar een flinke kerncentrale produceert per jaar net zoveel stroom als ruim 600 van die Eiffelmolens. En we moeten zeker meer windmolens bouwen, maar het is voor de komende decennia niet genoeg. Kijk, dit is de uitdaging waar we nu voor staan. Een rondje. En dit rondje is alle energie die we op aarde gebruiken. En zoals jullie weten hebben we de afgelopen jaren vol ingezet op wind- en zonne-energie met overheden, subsidies, windmolen.
He says full on, I disagree with that. The G20, the 20 biggest economies in the world, spend $4 trillion a year on government subsidies to fossil fuels. The Netherlands alone sends $4 billion a year to fossil fuel companies. I find that disgusting. To put it in example, this is stuff that is literal poison to not only the world but to us as humans, and our governments are subsidizing it. The only way to stop ourselves from being reliant on fossil fuels is to stop subsidizing fossil fuels. Only then can we truly see the cost of anything that has to do with fossil fuels. Cars, fossil fuel power plants, anything.
Parken op zee, alles. En wat denk je dat het aandeel zon en wind inmiddels is? Dit. Dit mini-stukje taart. Als je zo'n klein stukje taart krijgt op een verjaardag, dan zeg je toch ook... Ja, tante José, dan kan u die boekenbon ook in uw reet stoppen. Ja, daar doe je het niet voor. Verreweg het meeste wordt opgewekt met olie, kolen en aardgas. En dan heb je ook een traditionele biobrandstof en waterkracht en niet kernenergie. Conclusie, we zijn er nog lang niet. Het gaat veel te langzaam. En dat heeft echt te maken met angst voor kernenergie. In Duitsland hebben ze na de Sendai-beving in Japan, 19.000 doden, waaronder hoogstens 1 door straling, besloten om al hun kerncentrales te sluiten.
Yeah, that's actually happened. Germany no longer has any nuclear power plants. I believe, I'm not certain, did they actually keep one? Hang on. Germany nuclear power plants. Phase out. We'll just go to the phase out. Yep. The area of commercial power generation with nuclear power plants in Germany came to an end on Saturday with separation of the ISA-2 Neckar-Westheim and Emsland nuclear power plants from the power grid. As of Sunday, April 16th, Germany is no longer producing any electricity from nuclear power plants. That's April 2023. Has Germany phased out nuclear power plants? Yep, we shut down. So they don't have any nuclear power plants anymore. They were a bit late probably because...
En ze bouwen ook windmolens, maar om die gesloten kerncentrales te compenseren zijn ze ook bruinkool aan het verbranden. Weet je nog? Die allergoorste energievorm sinds de darminfectie van Maxima. Bijna even smerig. In Duitsland wordt een gebied van bijna 5000 hectare afgegraven om nieuwe bruinkool te winnen. Daardoor zullen 12 dorpen met in totaal 37.000 inwoners moeten verdwijnen.
Yeah, dus and the worst thing is, this was on the news lately. Windmills, Germany, coal mine. Germany begins dismantling wind farm for coal. This actually happened. It's insane. But they were actually dismantling these windmills for that massive coal pit. Let's take a look. Coal mine, Germany. Look at the monstrosity that is destroying the planet in Germany currently. I believe that's just a normal rural road. Look at how tiny it is in comparison. Look at that. That is insane. It's not on this photo, which is a shame because you could see the climate protesters, but look at the size of those things mining away the earth. And they built the biggest one of these. Like, look at that. How do you want to kill the planet and the people you are supposed to care for? I should probably go in the cinema.
Dankzij de kernramp in Japan zijn hele stukken Duitsland onbewoonbaar. Niet door straling, maar door de angst voor straling. En door de extra luchtvervuiling zullen er in Duitsland uiteindelijk veel meer extra mensen doodgaan dan door die kernramp in Fukushima. Allemaal omdat mensen kernenergie eng en stom vinden. Nou, als we het klimaat willen redden, dan moeten we echt anders gaan denken. En kernenergie echt als serieuze optie gaan zien. Kijk, het kan best zo zijn dat we over 40 jaar iets uitvinden met hele goede accu's. Of dat we energie opwekken uit de statische vacht van onze huisdieren of wat dan ook. Maar zolang we al die optimistische, futuristische technieken nog niet hebben, is kernenergie gewoon nodig. We moeten nu nucleaire energie niet uitsluiten. Heel trots op. Het moet daarom uit de taboesfeer. En we gaan even schakelen, want in de taboesfeer staat Tex de Wit. Hey. Tex, leuk. Tex, jij staat in de taboesfeer?
Ja, klopt.
Ja. Waarom heb je zo'n pak aan?
Hang on, I want to see. So, I don't know what that is, but this is some type of joke. Or many jokes. Oh, yeah, cartoons about the Prophet Muhammad from the Islamic religion. I don't know who that is, but laughing because of someone. Lolitas, I don't want to know what that is, because of what's next to it, which means sexual intercourse with bodies. Let's keep that in. Incest, let's keep that one in too. Horse sex, let's keep that one in too. Oh, cannibalism, yeah, let's keep that one in as well. I'm filling in the blank on this one, but this is probably the sexuality of Mark Rutte. Let's keep that one in there too, yeah. He's not married, by the way. He's been in charge of this country for 10 years and we still don't know if he's gay, straight or bisexual. Black Pete, a racist tradition from the Netherlands, which is now kind of getting pushed out, but also kind of not. There are still people who are on the fence, still people who are on the side of Black Pete, still people who aren't, so whole little bit bullshit. Anyways, old cheese salad, that's perfectly fine, that's great. That's not in there at all. Oh, zip-off pants, yeah. Let's keep those in. Something from marmots. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, nou, dat is uit voorzorg. Er zitten ook nog heel veel SOA's in de taboesfeer.
Oh, ja. Ik versta je niet heel goed. Doe maar even af. Gewoon, dat kan best wel even. Jawel, gewoon door je neus ademhalen. Dat doe ik ook altijd tegen SOA's.
Zeker?
Ja, kan wel. Doe maar even af. Ja, top. Heel goed. Goed, hoe is het daar in de taboesfeer?
Just FYI. You cannot get an STD from the air. You can only get an STD from bodily fluids. Let's keep it at that. You can get it from blood sometimes, not every time, but most of the time. And, of course, semen. Not sweat, thankfully. But yeah.
Nou, wel een lekker sfeertje. Mag je natuurlijk weer niet zeggen, maar fuck it.
Nou, ik zeg, kom hierheen. Haal die kernenergie uit de taboesfeer.
Ja, dat is goed. Let's go.
Yes. Tex, je pakt Zwarte Piet! Pas op, man, je pakt...
Sorry?
Dit was bijna helemaal misgegaan.
Dit is hem.
Ja, kernenergie. Heel goed. Dan zie ik je zo. Dan kunnen we vanaf nu in ieder geval weer praten over kernenergie. Dankjewel, Tex. Dit was Zondag met Lubach. Heel veel bedankt voor het kijken. Veel plezier met je week. En tot volgende zondag.
Yep. Nuclear energy. Most definitely. Well, I'm not going to say most definitely, but probably the best way to get out of our reliance on gas and other fossil fuels. France as an example. This is not the one though. Hang on. Nuclear Energy France. Oh. So they have 56 nuclear reactors. 61 gigawatts a year are made because of this. So it's second only to the US. But they produce, I believe it's 70%. Yeah, here you go. Most of their energy is from nuclear. The orange is fossil. Look at how little amount of fossil fuels they use for electricity production because of nuclear energy. Like, that is insane. They have a lot of nuclear energy, nuclear power generators. It's insane. It is absolutely insane how much nuclear energy France has. I believe it's about 70%. Yeah, this is just god awful. Fuck you, Germany. Honestly. Phasing out nuclear was the worst decision you could have made. Yeah, here you go. 76% in 2008, so it's probably a bit less now. But it's by far most of the electricity grid. So let's take a look at the nuclear disasters that have happened. So first of all, I want to tackle Chernobyl, because there were a lot of problems with the Chernobyl power plant before the explosion. Just before the explosion happened. So, yeah. The personnel were conducting an unplanned experiment. Get this. It was supposed to happen during the day when the experienced crew was around. At night, inexperienced crews would take over control of the nuclear power plant to make sure that it just ran throughout the night. That means that an experiment that wasn't planned was done by inexperienced nuclear engineers. Yeah, no, that's just going to cause disaster. So yeah, they turn off the reactor power control and emergency safety systems. Never turn off safety systems. They also removed many of the control rods from the reactor's core, but allowed it to continue operating at 7% power. Others exacerbated these errors, and by 1:13 AM on April 26, the chain reaction in the core had gotten out of hand. A giant fireball was created by several explosions which blasted off the reactor's massive steel and concrete lid. This caused a fire in the graphite reactor core, which released a large amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere. The material was blown across large distances by air currents. The core was partially melted as well. The evacuation of Pripyat's 30,000 residents began on April 28th. On April 27th. On April 28th, the heat and radiation seeping from the reactor core had been contained by May 4th. That's a weird sentence. So they started containing heat and radiation on April 28th, and it was contained by May 4th, although at a high risk to personnel. Debris was buried at 800 temporary locations, and the highly radioactive reactor core was sealed in a concrete and steel sarcophagus later that year. According to some estimates, 50 people were killed in the initial explosions, while others claim it was 2. I would take a conservative estimate and say it was around 25 then. Dozens more people became ill from radiation poisoning, and some died as a result. This radioactivity was carried by the wind across Russia and Ukraine all the way to France and Italy. Millions of acres of forest and farmland were damaged. Despite the evacuation of many thousands of people, hundreds of thousands stayed in hazardous areas. Animals were born deformed in the following years. Thousands of radiation-induced illnesses and cancer deaths were projected in the long run among people. And the Chernobyl tragedy fueled criticism of Soviet reactors' risky practices and poor designs. it caused opposition to constructing new such units, and it caused opposition across the board, of course. But yeah, most of it was because of flawed design, and the fact that they turned off emergency safety systems as an experiment. I'm sorry, that's the worst experiment you can ever do, first of all. But it was... No, that's just the worst thing you can do. Of course, Fukushima, the second deadliest nuclear accident, killed only one man. It was because of a massive earthquake, which didn't even impact the nuclear reactor. It was because of a 14-meter tsunami that flooded the diesel pumps. So yeah, the cooling systems didn't fail at first until the tsunami came, because the diesel pumps were located at the, what's it called, the lowest possible level. Let's see what they say about this. The waves were produced by main shock of Japan earthquake on March 11, 2011. Yep. The cooling systems in each of the 3 reactors failed within the first few days of the catastrophe. All 3 reactors were successfully turned down. The fuel rods in reactor 1 through 3 were overheated. They were partially melted down into increasing residual heat within each reactor's core because the backup generators weren't working because of the fucking tsunami, which was more than 50 feet high. So yeah, this is just... Obviously, Fukushima is not... No, they say over 1,000 people perished, but no. It's only one. Only one man died from the Fukushima nuclear incident. Kishtim. The plant was hazardous right away. The Teja River was used as a dump site for radioactive waste. Solid waste was dumped on the property without regard for its contents. This is Soviet. This is Soviet stuff. So, I'm not going to say anything about this, because we already know the Soviets were doing some weird shit. So this is just complete disregard for waste and anything, really. Little protective equipment, using local prisoners as forced labor, nuclear accidents in 1953, which wasn't discovered until working on radiation poisoning. Yeah, no, this is just mismanagement to the worst degree possible. So, not really a problem with nuclear energy, more a problem with the Soviet style of governance at the time. The wind scale fire. Let's see what this is about. Oh goodness, uranium fuel overheated and caused fire. Huh. Apparently that worked. I didn't think that would work, but apparently it did. Good. So, yeah, just uranium fuel overheating and catching fire. This was built in the 1950s, so this is old tech again. They say that may have killed 240 people. Yeah. So it doesn't seem like it's that bad. And it was because of old tech again. 3 Mile Island. Let's see, the removal of heat from the core of 3 Mile Island Unit 2 reactor was hindered in 1979. This was due to technical malfunctions and a stuck open relief valve. This is a crucial process for preventing reactor damage. When required pressure levels were reached, the instrumentation misinformed plant operators that the valve had successfully reclosed. Operators made decisions that ultimately made the loss of coolant worse. This is because they were unaware that it was happening at the plant. So it was again bad technology and a technical malfunction. Nothing much we can really do about that. So it seems that every time it's nuclear disaster, it's either bad technology or bad management, or both in the worst case scenarios, like Chernobyl. Basically what that is saying is there's nothing safer than nuclear energy as long as the technology is good. Well, if we can trust the IAEA, which I do, it is. And if the management is done well, which we can have our own influence on if we have influence over the government, which is an entirely different part of politics that we're not talking about today. We can talk about that later. But basically nuclear energy is safe. You just have to do it right. And that is very important. Nuclear energy should be safe. Wow. My typing has been incredibly well today. But yeah. Nuclear energy is perfectly safe, and besides, nuclear waste, real nuclear waste, just real, it doesn't look like the green slime and this is not real nuclear waste. This isn't nuclear waste. I mean, this is, I guess, but the boring truth about nuclear waste. Here we go. Creeping blobs of green goo. No, it's not. It's not like that. Some nuclear contamination isn't a problem. It isn't. Like with Fukushima, the Fukushima wastewater has just been released into the South China Sea, or the Japanese Sea. Basically the same, but anyways. North, South Korea and China have all decried this. A lot of the population of Japan didn't like this. It was just the Japanese government that decided to do it. The IAEA allowed it because it was done using their safety standards. Now, what does this mean? It means that the Nuclear Energy Agency in Japan first filtered out all the uranium, all other nuclear things that can be filtered out. What remains is something called tritium. Now, tritium is a special variant of hydrogen, but basically the same. It just has one extra neutron. Neutron? Yeah, I believe it's the same in English. Just has an extra neutron, which means that it's slightly special, but not that special. It has like a half-life of 40 years, I believe. Let's search it up. Tritium. Nope. Tritium. Tritium, an isotope of hydrogen. Hang on. This is not in English. I want it in English this time. Thank you. Tritium, rare and radioactive isotope of hydrogen with a half-life of about 12 years here. The nucleus of tritium contains 1 proton and 2 neutrons, whereas the nucleus of the common isotope hydrogen-1, or plutonium, contains 1 proton and 0 neutrons. And that of hydrogen-2, deuterium, also called heavy water, contains 1 proton and 1 neutron. Basically, what quite often happens is the rays of the sun take with them some ozone, some O3, that gets propelled into the water. One oxygen atom joins the water and creates, because ozone is O3, so it bouncing off of the water creates two O2 atoms and one hydrogen atom, and that hydrogen atom will be tritium. So tritium is actually already in the water, and well, it's perfectly safe up to a certain amount. Of course, there is an amount of tritium that you cannot drink without it being bad for you, but it emits beta radiation, so it's only bad for you if you actually ingest it. There's a lot of different stuff that you really have to know about this, but yeah, tritium already forms naturally, and the Fukushima nuclear power plant made sure there was only tritium in the water remaining, and that the tritium in the water remaining was incredibly diluted to, I believe it's about 1 in 10 million or something like that. So 1 tritium in 10 million water particles. That is more diluted tritium than it is in the sea right now. So it's perfectly safe. China and South Korea are probably just using this to, I don't know, be on the sides of their population or something, which, yeah, their populations don't know anything about this, because it's nuclear energy. It is the energy form that has been slandered and misinformed about the most since Chernobyl and the entire problem with that. So, I just have to disagree with China and South Korea on this, because it's perfectly safe. So yeah, there is no real nuclear waste problem, because we can recycle it as well. Here, uranium is extremely heavy, very dense, so it's even that. So the volume is very little. So yeah, there is no real problem with nuclear energy. It's just fear and misinformation that are really the cause. So yeah, don't let yourself be frightened because of this, because nuclear energy is perfectly safe. It is not here to harm you, it is here to help us get to a greener and cleaner future. So yeah, I don't know what this is. I believe that's... yeah. So one thing you can do with uranium is you can make uranium glass, which would be easier to dispose of. I wouldn't do it, but, you know. Oh, yeah, so these are the nuclear fuel rods. This is all concrete, and there's some safety rods as well, I believe. I don't know what this is, but yeah, most of this is just pure concrete. And lead, which stops, which stops radiation from going into the environment. Oh, jeez, sorry. But yeah, it's perfectly safe. There are no cons, not really, except costs, but you have to be ready to give a bit of money away to this. It's a noble cause, after all. But yeah, I hope that I was able to help someone learn at least a little bit. And as it is a way to educate myself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.